Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're now at part 6 of the running a country is not rocket science, not rocket science. Um, and we're basically uh, getting to the point of how do we get people to be different in their approach to um, kind of self-sustainability and looking out for each other. The core feature is you need to change the education. The education, the way the colonialists created the education, is to separate people from their culture, their religion, and their families and their friends, and create a kind of a competition and a self kind of individualism in order to create that kind of animosity between people. And the main tool is examinations. Now, people might say, but we need examinations. We don't need examinations, we need tests, yes. Tests is different to examinations. Examinations is a controlled particular feature of a state to manipulate a kind of a quota system. Testing is natural. We test ourselves until we achieve 100% knowledge or skills. So testing is necessary. But examinations is not a feature of learning. Testing is. So the moment you change the education infrastructure, then you can change the mindset of people because that creates the mindset for competition, for capitalism, for exploitation, etc., for bullying, for particular oppression, for crime. It's all because it frustrates people. It frustrates young people to follow a prescriptive thing that other people tell you what to do, and then that basically breaks down the self-esteem and then makes the person become truly inhibited and at the same time aggressive inside and outside themselves. So it doesn't matter how much policies you change, but if you keep the education in the same way, it will never succeed because the educational system is the core root cause of the problem. That's why I resigned after 12 years of teaching when I realized, but this is structural abuse of children and young people. I resigned. I couldn't take it and say no, no, no. Couldn't be part of that system. So, but it was a good experience in the sense that I could see how the functional features are dysfunctional and how it destroys children. So the the moment you change the education to be holistic and open and creative, etc., and not determined by prescriptive examinations, but encourage self-testing, self-evaluation, then you have an open society. So while you have the schools, what do? As a government, the best thing is to make the schools or all the schools that you have self-sustainable. In other words, produce the garden, the food for the community, pay the students a salary or a salary to actually learn. And the Arabs actually did that. They would pay students to come to university or to learn and to use. And when they use libraries, they would pay them. And this was the golden era of Islam. So there's already a kind of a precursor, or there was an example of a state that ran in this particular way for the comfort of the people, servicing the people and making everything that is part of their assets, make it that they can benefit from it. I mean, today, for instance, you can still see it's not perfect, but in countries where there is oil, the petrol is like it costs nothing for people to drive around. Um, that's just one example of a resource belonging to the people, and therefore people must have the full benefit of it. So when you have changed the educational system or change the learning culture, that everybody is possibly can learn, the youth are being paid to learn. The youth are being paid to work within the community. Now you don't have a problem. Immediately you solve the educational crisis that is constantly developing a problem within capitalistic and democratic kind of structures in the modern kind of government systems. and unemployment increases all the time. So by supporting the youth and paying them to work and to learn, etc., and to assist the communities and making the schools a family-based productive feature for the community or for the people. Now you have products being produced at the school. You have students who are actually being paid to do the work. Now you don't lose expertise, you don't lose product development, and you don't lose services, which is all lost when children are sitting and preparing for some paper exam at the end of the year, and you have all sorts of problems because of that. So the moment you become an active, creative kind of institute where it becomes the hub of the community, in other words, the schools as it is today becomes the structures as it is today, becomes the marketplace and skills development and qualitative appreciation of a community, especially its youth. Now that makes a completely different mindset, and so, in that particular style, you can see who are the people who will take leadership. Automatically, people will admire some people for the leadership and the qualities that they present. You don't have to create a kind of a artificial kind of voting for somebody who speaks, gives a nice talk, but can't really function practically, or is not cannot keep a promise. No, you can see the leaders in that community, in that street, in that school, etc. They naturally take position because of the quality of themselves as person, and people naturally relate to people that are exemplary. That's not something that you have to force. And so there you have the development of a society that is open, that is holistic, that is self-supportive, and that's how the government is then, as I'm saying, running the state, running a government is not rocket science. It's because now the people are running it. The government is just producing the opportunity and guardianship and supporting the people with the finance that's available and coming into the country, and that creates a base for more creativity and more products that can be then created and develop a market outside the country itself. So I'm past my seven minutes, and I hope that was a kind of a thought experiment, but it does work. Alhamdulillah. Oh, sorry, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Assalamu alaikum. All the best, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.